I 1971 skriver David Bowie et nummer, der bliver en milepæl i hans karriere. Det starter med, at han bliver tilbudt sangen My Way, der senere bliver et hit for Frank Sinatra. Men Bowie takker nej og skriver i stedet det lille mesterværk Life On Mars. En sang, som Bowie sidenhen har kaldt for sin My Way. Her der kommer historien om sangen, der har været en af de vigtigste i hans karriere, nemlig klassikeren Life On Mars.
If you're not affected by that song, then you gotta fucking have no heart.
There's a slight pretentiousness about it, which actually is pretentious in a good way.
När jag var liten så tyckte jag att det var en väldigt häftig text som inte jag förstod någonting av. Bara det var ju bra.
Some rock and roll is just great rock and roll. Some rock and roll is rubbish, and some rock and roll is great art.
I tell you what, it's absolutely fucking impossible to play. When you're there with an acoustic guitar, go.
No, I mean, it's a fantastic song, of course it is.
Det är en av de fantastiska låtarna som handlar om som på sätt och vis inte handlar om någonting, och just därför så får man känslan av att den handlar om precis allt.
You can pick holes in most songs, you can pick holes in most pieces of music. There isn't anything wrong with Life On Mars. I've never heard anybody say they don't like it, ever.
It's their life on Mars.
Inspired, I think it was more revenge.
Tell us.
I mean, I wrote the song. I was with a music publishing company in the 60s, kind of trying to be a songwriter, not even a singer particularly, but I was quite happy to write them songs, and they would give these songs to different artists. That was the idea anyway. Nothing ever came of it. I think they got like 3 placed. And one of the things they gave me was this French song, and they said, do an English lyric to this. So I wrote this god-awful lyric. Even a fool learns to love, it was called. It was dreadful. God, it's so awful. Really embarrassingly bad. And I sang the lyric to the actual record that they sent me from France. So you hear the actual. There's a tape of me. You can hear. I've seen it on the internet. I mean, it's available. You hear the French song in the background. You hear me singing my lyric over the top of it. It's very funny.
They're funny man. Don't let them down. Oh, I dance and prance and be their clown. That time, a happy time, that even a fool learns to love.
Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew.
The next time I heard it, it was My Way by Frank Sinatra. What happened to my lyric? Oh, I'm sorry, but it wasn't very good, so we got Paul Anka to do it. So I was really pissed off. I thought, oh, it should have been my song, you know? So I thought, okay, I'll write my own version. So it's My Way on Mars.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair, but her mummy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go.
Can you actually recall something from the sessions when you recorded Life on Mars? This was 1971 or something.
Yeah, it was Hunky Dory, wasn't it? That was. Those sessions seemed to me to be awfully. I know there were musicians on the album that I hadn't really worked with before. So I felt a little bit insecure about whether it was going to come out sounding the way I wanted it to. That's the only thing I remember. But it turned out okay, didn't it? Was it Wakeman on piano?
And then he phoned me up and said he wanted me to come round to his house. He wanted to play me some songs. And he had a beautiful house in a place called Beckenham, which is in Kent. And I was only just like a young 21-year-old session musician. I'd joined Straubs, and I was enjoying myself, but I lived in a tiny little house, so I arrived at this huge, great house. I remember going, like, looking at this place and walking in there, and it had an enormous hallway, and there was all the band's equipment and things were set up for a band. And David met me, and his little boy, Zoe, had just been born, and we went upstairs and had a wonderful grand piano. I can't remember the make, but I remember it was light brown, a very old grand piano. And we sat down in this room. He said, I want to play you some songs. And I said, OK. So, he said, I want to do this new album. And what's important with this album? He said, I've always come to from a guitar point of view. He said, I'd like to come to this album from a piano point of view. He said, so I want to play the songs on the guitar, and I want you to write how you would play them on a piano, and then I want to adapt around that. I said, oh, OK. Oh, yeah. So he then got out this battered old 12-string guitar, and he started playing these songs. He played changes, and all these songs kept coming out one after the other that were just phenomenal. And then normally when you do an album, you get one or two good songs that you work on, and they were just getting better and better. And then he played Life on Mars, which was just probably the best song I'd ever heard.